Come on. This guy. This dude. This guy's credits blow me away. Take a few minutes, let everybody kind of filter in. Aaron's in the house. Yellow. Boy, I love seeing people I don't know. This is great. I do love it. If you guys don't know this guy's credits, go to IMDb. It's one of the most I've ever seen. Maybe there was someone in the 500s I've looked at, but man, high fours I think. Man, I couldn't even. I was trying to write them down. Yeah, what up? I was trying to write them down, and it was taking too long. I was going to write down 400 credits. Man, the 80s pretty good. The 90s were just killer. They were killer. This dude crushed it. Everything we watched. I'm going to be 40, so for those of you who don't know, boy, the credit list. I can just hear my childhood. I can hear everything this guy was doing. We all know the big ones, but I forgot about some of the other ones, man. Like, Tailspin. I can remember watching Ghostbusters and Gargoyles, but Darkwing Duck, Captain Planet. Dude, I'm excited. Let a few more people jump in, then we'll... There he is. I see the man himself is at the ready. We're not going to make this guy wait. Let's go. Oh, is it working? Hey, there it is. All right.
I hear you have Cam Clarke on your show tonight.
We'll see if he shows up. That guy's such a flake. I mean, I'm hoping.
I know. And he's like so egotistical. And it's all about him.
It's like change the record. I know. There were 4 turtles, you know.
Inside.
How are you, my friend?
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
I am well. You see that my ceiling fan kind of looks like horns?
Yeah, you look very horny. Oh, wait a second. That's
Well,
not what I meant. Not what I meant at all.
we can go with that. It could be true.
I've seen a lot of people showing love for you already, man. It's blowing up.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. So, as we're starting here, too, I learned...
Okay, I can either wear my glasses and I'll look like an alien with the lights blurring so I can see what's going on, or I go like this and I'll just have to have you decide who I'm...
Here's the best way to do it. Best way to do it is, I was just going to tell people now, if there is a feature, I think this is more recent, there's a feature to ask a question, and they'll just pile up as we're talking, and at the end, you can actually, I'll go in and I'll just read them off. So you don't have to worry about trying to read, because they're going to keep, I'm looking already, they're going to keep bing, 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 bing.
Okay.
Cool. So I was just saying, as we were just sitting there for a minute, dude, your list, your credits, man, through the roof. Quantity and quality.
What's that?
So you had quantity and quality.
Yeah.
Do you have, here's this, go ahead. I was going to say the 90s alone, for me being 40, like looking through, like I knew the Turtles thing because I met you, for those of you who don't know, I got to meet this gentleman last year, and it was all 4 Turtles in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is about 2 hours from me in Pittsburgh. But we were blown away what a good time we had. We expect nothing, hope for everything. And it was a nice convention where it wasn't really busy and 50 people in line. We could actually go and talk to you guys, and you talked all of us up. We probably spent 40 minutes between, like, you know, the 4 of you. And honestly, that's a big thank you to you guys.
Oh, our pleasure. Always.
Do you get to be with them very often?
Mainly just at the shows. And fortunately, we do enough of them that we get playtime. But we go out to dinner when we're together, and we have heart-to-hearts. And you know, Barry always says, and it's mutual. But he says, I guess he's an only child, and he said, I never had brothers, but you guys are my brothers. And you know, we don't see each other on Mother's Day or whatever, but we so get along. And I think when we're on the road doing these shows, what a pain in the butt it would be if I couldn't stand one of them or something, you know. But we just all get along. I mean, and I'm not blowing smoke. It's just so delightful.
So you're saying you're the opposite of Metallica.
Exactly. And I gotta say that while working, you know, because was it in Altoona? Was EG there and Gray and Billy?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's just we got home because we were driving to the airport. We were all on similar flights, and we were all in the same car going back to the airport. And I went, we got to get together for dinner. Of course, it was a scheduling nightmare, but they came over for dinner, and we really enjoy each other's company. What can I say? I adore them.
I feel like that's pretty rare. I mean, you put a group of people together, there could always be a problem, especially over this amount of time. You know, if you guys are still close, then obviously there's really something there.
Well, it's great that the shows give us the opportunity to hang out. I wish I got to see Gray and EG and you know, some of those other folks more often. But so often at the shows, you know, they divide the guests among all the different categories, and they have these many wrestlers and, you know, these many anime people and these many cartoon people. So, but like we were just in Wales, did a show in Telford. Actually, Telford is in England, but it's like this show in Wales that they've renamed. They outgrew their show, so they're doing in this town called Telford, right across the border. But got to spend with Sean Astin, who he and I are just, you know, so tight. You know, we don't hang out here, but when we're on the road, you can't shut us up. You know, catching up and stuff.
So, can you explain to me? I got to watch the video on your website. I'm pretending like no one knows anything about you. I'm going to start from scratch, even though clearly this group is all about it. But I surely didn't know that show existed.
What,
and
my family show? Well, of course you wouldn't. You weren't even a gleam in your father's eye.
But can you tell us anything about it? And can you verify that the one clip on your site, do you burp in the middle of a song?
Wait, which one did you?
The black and white clips on your site.
Yeah.
There's a montage, and I swear I was driving, so I couldn't watch. I was just listening. And I swear you started a song, and it was either a hiccup or a burp, and then the crowd even kind of giggled. Or did I hit a bump, maybe?
There's one where we crack up. We're doing a station ID, and we screw up the lines, and like Harvey Korman and Tim Conway, we just giggle our asses off. But I think it was because of line screw up, not for something as childish as a hiccup, but literally like we're actors and we just fucked up the line. So
tell us about that show.
Yeah, my mom was a famous singer back in some of this language. I don't even know if you kids even know the words. Like, do you know if I say the big band era, do you know what that is? Do you? As opposed to Metallica, but from the 1940s during World War II. Anyway, she was a big band singer, and in the early 1960s, they were asked to do this fundraiser, a building fund for BYU, Brigham Young University. And my Aunt Yvonne said, well, wouldn't it be kind of a wacky, zany idea if we just brought the kids up on stage? And it went really well. We did 3 benefits to feel it out. And the last one, we had it filmed by the university's, film department. And, she knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy over at ABC. And she showed him this raw footage. And he said, if you can edit this down to like a 60-minute presentation. I'll set you up with so-and-so. And they showed it to the big wigs, and they said, how soon can we get a pilot? You know, it's kind of a Cinderella story. It wasn't a Hard Knocks thing. It just, and we were off to the races. And it was a musical variety show, you know, all singing, all dancing, all related. 39 of us, 36, 39, depending on the episode, all singing and dancing together.
And for those of you who haven't, I'm glad you shared with me that it was, the clips are sitting right on your website. You have to go to, is it camclarke.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
didn't want to screw that up, but
I was looking. My nephew's visiting, who runs my site, but he left the room. Anyway, it's camclarke.com or Cam. What?
Either one of those will get you there.
Or Cam Clarke Voices. Wave to the nice people, Lex. That's my nephew's arm you see back there. That's his head. That's him jumping around.
So, how did you get into voice acting? So between was it the King show, the King family?
Family.
So between there and what most of us know you best for, what happened in that span?
Well, I went away. I served a mission for the Mormon Church when I was about 19, and I was starting to work a bit without the family when I was in my late teens. But then I moved away for a couple of years to do this mission thing, and I came home, and the doors that were promised to be open were shut. You know, typical Hollywood thing. Who are you? What? But I started working for my brother, who was an associate producer over at Warner Brothers, doing some shows, and they needed people to do voices on TV shows like Fight Grunts and Hospital Pages and Police Dispatch, all that stuff you hear in the peripheral of, you know, your TV show you're watching, or the kissing sounds and football stadium roars. All that stuff is laid in what they call post-production in the sound department. And like when you see if you watching a movie that they're at a party or a sports bar or a graduation thing, all the extras, they're not really talking, and we do the talking for them, because it would just be such a mess editing wise when you're editing your main actors. Anyway, I met a couple. You might want to look up this lady, Linda Gary, who was huge right before me, animation-wise. She was like Tress MacNeille, you know, and she was doing one of these shows with me. I had not met her, and she said, you know, you're kind of good at this. You ever thought of doing this as a career? And I was like, I mean, this is a thing, you know? Do you like how I turned away into the vampire cough, even though it's still being that? Yeah, did I get it on? Here, wait. Did I get that? Wait, let me spit on that tissue. And I went, and she goes, well, I think you should. And so she kind of took me under her wing, quite literally, you know? I mean, said, come over tomorrow at 4:00, you know, whatever it was. And she set me up with a coach, set me up with an agent, took a couple of classes, and, you know, that was it. But it's because of her. Well, because my brother. So a lot of us of our generation, we kind of accidentally fell into the voice world. I don't know if any of your other interviewees have said that. Kids your age, or the new crop of people below us, they have this as a goal to do. I want to do voices for cartoons. Well, when I was a kid, I watched Saturday morning cartoons or after school, and then I went out to play and never gave it another thought. It wasn't on our radar. You talk to pretty much everybody but Corey Burton, and they'll say, yeah, I wanted to be an on-camera actor or a stage actor, but it wasn't working out. And I kind of, what is this over here? It was kind of accidental. And so like with my brother Rick and with Linda Gary, without them, I don't know that I would have stumbled upon it.
Yeah, it makes sense. We were a buddy of mine who was with us when we met you in Altoona was trying to do it, and he talked to I think probably every one of you and just asking like, where do we do? And it was kind of like, you have the internet, man. You can do some improv classes, but there's sites, record yourself, put it all over the internet. Like that's where it starts now. That's all I want to do is talk to people. I don't care if it's singing. I don't care if it's voice acting. And I just love doing this part of it. And we were all curious to pick your brain that day of like, how did you even get to this
Well,
point? I've never heard anyone say that it kind of fell into it, which is kind of wild.
yeah, and it was so much easier then. Excuse me. There were so fewer of us. There, the internet exploded, and now everybody, can sit in their basement in their big boy underpants and turn in an audition. And where once we just auditioned with the people in town here in LA, it's now you can record from Nome, Alaska or Altoona, and submit yourself. So it's just the game is a lot harder. Hey, the light went away, Lex. What happened?
Oh, it's just your computer screen went to sleep. Hit your space bar. There you go.
See, now I am. That's what nephews are for.
Websites and lights. Sites and lights.
Chutes and ladders.
So once you got into it, I was trying to read through all the credits again, the mega list. But some of the top 20 or more cartoons of my generation you were in, and I love learning that you were in them 20 minutes ago. Because I guess I know the big ones, or people say, oh, you didn't realize he was, Snake, or you didn't realize that. Oh, that's cool. But it kind of floats around like this 4 or 5 that you're familiar, like And then I went through and I was telling everybody in here before you jumped in, I'm like, Tailspin, Ghostbusters, Darkwing Duck, Captain Planet, The Tick, Gargoyles, Kablam. I didn't know half of those, and they were like every Saturday, or at least every time it was on, we kind of jumped on the floor and started watching it. Especially, we had to do Kablam was a big one. That was the Flesh from Kablam, the Action League Now clips.
Wait, man, that's
this is
man.
He was called the Flesh. So I looked up what they made him out of, and I found like the old figure from the 80s. I think it was like Conan the Adventurer. And then I had to do a repaint because Jim Krenn, one of the voices, I guess one of the creative minds for the Action League Now part of it, is from here. He's still here. I got to meet him, and I made him a stinky diver, and I just tracked him down one day before he did stand up. I tracked him down one day before a show, and I'm like, hey man, I was so obsessed with Kablam, and we have burned DVDs with just like Prometheus and Bob and all these different things. And I realized he was Stinky Diver, and he's a local. I'm like, oh, I'm jumping on this. I have to make him something. I have to meet him.
When we were in Wales, one of the very first shows I did, I didn't think ever saw the light of day, a thing called D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds. I don't think it ever aired here, and I thought, did it air anywhere? I don't know. But people came up to my table in England, because I have this banner that has a bunch of my characters on it that I put up, as you saw when we met. And people are going, what? Who's that? Is that D'Artagnan? Were you D'Artagnan? Hey, he was D'Artagnan. Always wondered who did the voice for that. Hey, did you hear that? And people would say, oh, I rushed home after school every day to watch D'Artagnan, like we did with the Turtles. They'd watch Turtles as well, but D'Artagnan was another one that they'd race home for. And I'm going, glad to know it aired someplace.
Especially now, I feel like even if there was one airing or one whatever, or someone from a studio has a copy, it's on the internet now. It's somewhere. It's all somewhere now.
And I'm seeing it on the crawl there.
And then did it look like you got a big jump into video games come 2000s?
Yep.
I mean, I play Call of Duty every night. So to see anything Call of Duty pop up on there, oh yeah. So there's just a new game every year, new something all the time. And a big one came out during COVID, and that's where we all got like this. It was like we all got on. That's where we talked. We'd order food at the same time. We'd keep these in, stop playing. Everyone's just eating and drinking, talking.
Okay.
So like anything, yeah. And if I see COD anywhere, I'm like, well, that's awesome. That's a huge one for me. But even like Kingdom Hearts, Clone Wars, Metal Gear Solid, a bunch of my friends were like, ask him about Metal Gear. I'm like, can you be a little more specific? So, Kim, what about Metal Gear?
What about it? You know, Ninja Turtles, I have 101 stories to tell because we recorded together. Metal Gear, we did not. Had a photo shoot with some of the cast of Metal Gear for my new book, which we'll be shamelessly plugging before we're done.
It's on the list.
And the director, Chris Zimmerman, was at the photo shoot as well, with David Hayter and some of the others, Paul Eiding and Tasia, and some others. Anyway, she reminded us how that when we first recorded it, we were in like some back room that had no insulation, and we'd have to stop for airplanes and cars and sirens going by, that it was really kind of by the seat of our pants. And I totally did not remember that, but she remembers it very clearly. And she said a wonderful thing that none of us knew at the time, that she was a hired gun for that. She was not brought into the casting portion of it. And she said, okay, I have one request. I need to have 20 slots on your audition roster. And she told us at the photo shoot, she said, you know, here I'm just brought in to do the directing, and I got my request for 20 slots. And she goes, and 19 of my 20 got the roles. And that would be Paul and David and me and Tasia and Kim and Debbie Mae West and, you know, Robin. We were hers. So had she not done that, we might not have been on the call, which is how so precarious a lot of the casting is. You know, if you're not available that day, someone else would have got it. You know, it would have been just as good perhaps, but wouldn't have been me.
So not as good.
So not, well, yeah, I guess that is what I'm actually saying.
Yeah. So there you go, Nick. I asked them, what about Metal Gear Solid? That was for you. So these conventions, man, I've been going forever. I mean, years and years and years. Do you have favorites, like, or even favorite cities where something pops up, or you're told about or hear about it, you're like, I'm absolutely involved. I want to do that. Like, I feel like if I was you and I saw the other Turtle guys, I'm like, well, that's an easy one. I'm going to be doing that. But really just wanted to pick your brain, like how you feel about these conventions in general.
I wish it were as easy as that. We have an agent that submits us, but bringing in so often, unless it's like a Metal Gear show, often I'm sold as a package with the Turtles. And often if they don't get all four of us, they don't want none of us. Because it's a big ticket item, you know? And so hey, there's a big ticket item. Look at that. And there's my signature on it. Woo-hoo.
Man, you guys having the different color markers. Everyone's saying something different. You guys have been doing this for a minute.
And my saying is the longest of all of them. So I get more writer's cramp than any of the other guys.
Turtles fight with honor.
Turtles fight with honor. Right?
Very nice. So I don't like the whole package deal thing, because I mean, you know, you don't have just Turtles. You know, do they do that with, like you said, if there was like a Metal Gear theme or there was a Turtle theme? Is there other themes where there's a group of you guys, like you are part of another group?
Those would be the two. Sometimes I do shows by myself, but mainly it's the Turtles, and of course. Once I'm there and people walk up and they go, oh, wait, you were Snoopy, you were He-Man, you were, you know, Kaneda, you were blah, 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 you know, Flounder, then it opens up. But promoters, don't always know, all the minutia, all the deep dives of us, but we've done very well. And it's so great that you folks are out there. Tetsuo! Right? I happened to look down and see that.
Perfect.
What was I saying?
Who cares?
Who cares? I was just Canada, so I lost my train of thought.
The package deals, bringing you guys in.
Yeah. So, we're an expensive package because there's 4 of us or 5 if Renee's invited. And they often don't want to give up 4 slots. So it's, we go when we're asked, and when fans, they say, when are you going to come to blah, blah, blah? I go, as soon as we're invited. But it's not like I can call up guys and go, hey, I want to come to Dallas. And they go, oh, all right. We get pitched to the show, and they say yes or they say no. And I go out maybe 7 times, 8 times a year, and that's plenty. Rob Paulson is out I think he's home less than he's out at the shows.
He's coming back to Altoona next week. We'll be going up again.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's Pinky in the Brain is the pitch, is the package.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever back this way, I volunteer.
Come back to Texas. Okay. I have family who lives outside of, where is Flower Mound? What's Dallas, outside of Dallas. We've done the Austin show, and we did another one. Anyway, would love to go back to Texas. Love to get a free trip to visit my family. How about that?
I was going to say, next time you're this way, anywhere near Western PA, I'll volunteer to be your PA. I'll help you out.
All right.
You got to stop asking, though. You got to stop sending me emails like, you want to do it? I'm like, I'll do it. Just got to back off a little bit.
Sorry, I know I come off needy. I come off so needy.
So
love me.
So about the book, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. I've been working on this for a couple of years now. It's 101 years of entertainment through one man's family, my grandpa, through photos, photography, and essays. It starts in the early part of the 20th century. It starts in 1922 and goes through 2023. The last big chapter is my career with all these new photos of, cast reunion photos that I set up and all kinds of stuff. And it should be out this fall for Christmas presents. Oh, and it's a coffee table book. It's not like this. It's, one of these. It's big, gorgeous, full color pictures and stuff. And it's me and a bunch of my cousins and old, memoirs and journals of our moms. So it is in the first person. From the 1920s, it's in first person. Not once do I say they did this or they did that. It's my mom saying in 1927, I, me, we. So you're traveling time machine with the people who were there, and it touches on everything from stage to movies and radio and TV and video games and cartoons and recording. It covers everything. So
that's awesome. Where can people get it?
Here for that. What?
Where can people get it?
Well, we'll find out. That it's not published yet, so I imagine there's so few books, brick and mortar bookstores, but I imagine it'll be various places online. I'll find that out in fact, my publisher was just over here today and signed off we showed him the whole Megillah and he signed off. And so it's now his turn to take a whack at it.
Well, good. That's cool. I'm sure we can probably just follow you and, you'll keep us updated on where at.
On my page. Yeah.
All right. So everyone, again, if you want to throw in, I see the questions queue has a few in it. I'll give you guys one more chance to shoot any questions into that Instagram feature. And in the meantime, I'll give you a lightning round.
Oh, was I
So
supposed to practice?
no practicing. All improv. Just keep asking questions. That's it. So you get to pick food, movies, or feeling good.
I failed on, I was a contestant on Password, on Super Password, and I lost miserably. So this is like total PTSD.
They're really easy. They're all really simple questions. And now that I say that, you're gonna have like the hardest time or something. I'm gonna look like such an asshole. But we're gonna keep pushing forward. We're just gonna keep trying.
Okay, all right.
So
What are my categories again?
food, movies, feeling good.
Oh, golly.
We're gonna do all of them. I just wondered if you want to
Oh,
start with anyone in particular.
let's start with movies.
Movies. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
Scrooge, the musical, starring Albert Finney, followed by this new one from, I think, last year before, Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Yeah, I know.
People hated it or they loved it. I absolutely loved it. What was it called? Can't remember the.
Were they like an elf and
No.
Santa or something? Weren't they supernatural or
Oh,
something?
maybe it was called Spirited. Well, look it up. Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. Loved it.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Both are on your credits too, so it's a tough one.
Star Wars. Star Trek, but the original when I was in grammar school.
Shatner.
Yeah. Watching it Friday night with having a sleepover with a little friend, staying up late on Friday night to watch Star Trek.
Favorite genre? Because I used to ask favorite movie, but you can't just say one movie, or even a couple of your favorites.
Favorite genre?
Yeah, or movie.
Favorite
Or movies.
Favorite genre is horror. Not slasher. This could be.
I was like, not jerking off. Got it. Perfectly fine.
Nothing. That's another story. But not like slashers or the bloody stuff. But and they're really hard to do right. My favorite, when I say horror, more like ghost stories. Loved. I mean, this isn't a ghost story, but Alien and Aliens.
Yes.
Perfect pictures. As far as my favorite ghost stories, one is Nicole Kidman in The Others. Are you a horror fan, Chris?
Absolutely. There's a lot of horror in this office. Actually, I keep a nice simple backdrop because I had people saying if I turned, I was getting the weird ring light on everything. It just made it look like I was in an eclipse. There's horror all over this room. Yeah, there's horror tattoo. It's a lot of horror.
The other one is called The Changeling, which is George C. Scott. And was it Get Out? What's the is that the Jordan Peele one recently?
Yeah, it was. Get Out was after Nope, right?
Nope.
Do I have that right?
Nope was more recent. Get Out, I think, was that first big one.
This one, right, with the T. That's Get Out, right? Yeah.
The T one.
I was about to say something like people here might not have seen it. I don't want to ruin it, especially a good horror movie, especially a Peele movie. I don't want to ruin it, but
what a reveal in that. And lastly, I'd say the deaf one from a couple of years back with a little deaf daughter. What was that called, Lex?
Remember, there was a sequel.
There was a sequel to it. Maybe it'll come up here with one of your guests, one of your listeners.
There you go, guys. What movie are we talking about? Someone's just going to go to Google right now and they'll tell us.
The one with the big monsters, and you have to be quiet. And if you make even the smallest peep.
Quiet Place?
Yes.
Quiet Place. Yes.
Yeah, they did just put out a sequel. That's right. I didn't see the sequel yet either. That was a great movie. I think he directed that. Krasinski. Yeah.
And see, I could be here all day with monster movies. And The Haunting with Claire Bloom, the original one, the black and white one.
I loved my first delve into horror when I was probably, I want to say 16, because I think my grandmother had to get me and my friend in, was the remake of House on Haunted Hill.
The
Yeah,
remake. Yeah.
because it was right around that time. I want to say 16, 17, because late 90s, mid-late 90s, I think. And the cast was through the roof. Everyone in that was so good. Like, you have Catan over here making it funny and telling people to shut up, but then you have, is it Famke Janssen, who's like this brunette bombshell kind of coming through. It was, and then all the, now it like doesn't hold up, all the CGI, like the ghost cloud thing,
Hard
but
to
it doesn't matter.
hard to revisit some of these horror films because the effects are kind of.
I just go back to the theater at like 25 years ago. I'm like, it scared the shit out of me then. I can still watch it now and absolutely love it.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, Twilight Zone, the TV series, every episode, love it.
Do you,
That one.
you did mention newer horror. Did you see anything by Ari Aster? Like Hereditary or Midsommar? And he just had Beau is Afraid was the one that's, I think it's still in theaters.
No.
I'm calling him my generation's Hitchcock.
Oh, really? Okay, then I'll have to check it out.
So some friends of mine are trying to do some horror, and seasoned guys like you and I can probably take a lot because we've been built up, and Ari Aster really tests your limits. So I called.
Write that down.
I called. Yep, ARI, and it's ASTER.
Okay.
And I call them weekend ruiners.
You like
I'm
Black?
sorry. I
Did
talked over you. Try one more. Oh, we keep doing it too. One more time.
Did you watch Black Mirror?
Yeah. I love it because it takes me back to Tales from the Crypt or Are You Afraid of the Dark, where you get these mini movies.
Yeah.
And you can be invested for half an hour or an hour, and you get to start all over again. So yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, yeah. Next category.
How about food? Chips Ahoy or Oreos?
Double stuff. Oreos.
Oreos are resoundingly the winner. I don't know if I've ever had someone say Chips Ahoy.
And I still throw away the top cookie part and will still just eat the lard.
One of the best answers I had, someone goes, neither, Entenmann's. And that was like a family favorite of mine, and this person had no idea. And I went, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. Oh my God. When I went, the little ones they have now or the old school are a little bigger? And he was talking about microwaving them. It was the singer from Wheatus. And I'm like, I expected a cool rock and roll vibe, and all we're doing is just being two fat kids talking about cookies. We're like, put them in the microwave. Yeah, put them in the microwave, and then you stack them. Oh, I never stacked them. Oh, you have to stack them, and then you put it in. Not for very long, for like 20 seconds. And then we were like, oh yeah, I have more questions, but fuck them. What's your favorite? Yeah. So, how about burgers or dogs?
Dogs at the movies.
So I agree 100%, and I enjoy eating the hot dog during the trailers and then popcorn during the movie.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
Like hot dog is gone by the time the movie starts.
What do you put on it?
All three, boring. You know, I put on the ketchup, mustard, and relish.
Relish, 3 packets.
Yeah. And
How do you order? Oh, sorry. Until what's
and
it?
it gets all over you, those little packets.
Why is the relish so slimy when it's from a packet, but not out of a jar? Anyway, how do you order your pizza?
Pepperoni? I guess as a turtle, I'm supposed to say sardines and hot fudge. But no, in reality, pepperoni or Hawaiian or margarita.
I do love a margarita. We're going to skip over feeling good because I just realized the number of questions.
Oh.
So we have to turn those into a lightning round as well. So we'll skip over.
Rob Fury. I know Rob Fury. And yes,
right.
Cam is the best.
All right, so I'm going to try to go through. Some people are just actually making a couple comments. So we'll try to, I love having people get involved, so I kind of want to say their name. Freebird says, hi, this is Mark Townies, GA from Wales Comic Con. Freebird also said, love to hear a story about doing Akira. Let's see, a question.
Yes.
Cam, why didn't Rob, Townsend, and Barry do the TMNT Coming Out of Our Shells tour with you and Peter?
What's the question?
Let me find it again. Why didn't Rob, Townsend, and Barry do the TMNT Coming Out of Our Shells tour with you?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. One of the guys that was producing it was a friend of mine, and he asked me if I would do it, and I just went, yeah, and it never crossed my mind that it wouldn't be the others. So I don't really have an answer for that.
Let's see what else we got. Have you ever been hired by people who are true Ninja Turtles fans? The original CNG asked. I'm guessing that would be like, if I can see exactly where that question's coming from. If I'm working at a con one day, I'm going to have to fan out a little bit at some point. I wouldn't be able just to go, Kim. I'd have to go, okay, Kim, you're right over here. By the way, when you were on, and I'd have to geek out at some point.
No, I have been on sessions where somebody says, I don't know if you guys know who Cam is, but did you watch Ninja Turtles? And they go, oh, Cam, and I'll do it, and they, like this. And we did a commercial a couple of years ago for Honda, a Christmas spot. Get that Christmas feeling again. Remember that feeling you got when you got your first Ninja Turtle action figures kind of thing? And those clients were like, they're, because they were you, they were little kids, and now they're in the hiring seat, and they came up with this campaign that's like, what would make you feel the most like a little kid? Ninja Turtle toys, and let's sell our cars with that sentiment, So yeah, it's there, and we get to enjoy it now that you kids is all grown up.
Yeah, and we have paychecks of our own now. Peyton Holland asked if you added any new awesome Halloween pieces to your collection.
You mean since last Halloween? I haven't done any off-season shopping, so I guess I won't be doing my Halloween tour again this year because I don't think I have any new things to show.
I think you answered this question.
This year, right? Okay.
I think we answered this question. Since you're Leonardo, what's your favorite topping on pizza? Are we going with the anchovies and fudge?
Anchovies and hot fudge.
Miggle asks, are you performing any live music or any sort of one-man show?
No, I've been working 24/7 on the book, but I think that is probably related to my one-man show that I did a few years back, and it is on my website if you want to check it out. It's called Stop Me If I Told You This. A real labor of love. Very proud of that. But no live music. I mean, no new music this year. I'm kind of tapped out with the book, and and getting to meet you guys at the upcoming cons that I don't even know which ones I'm allowed to talk about. I'm going to be in Seattle this weekend. I know I can talk about that, and but I just don't know which ones are official yet. I'm actually got something in LA, believe it or not. So for any of you that are in this area, I'm finally going to be in my hometown this summer. Don't ask me when, but I'll post it on my page ahead of time, so you know.
Where is the best place, side note, to get your dates? Is it your .com or socials, or what's best?
Lex, to get the dates of my shows.
Yeah, social media.
Social media.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Cam Clarke voices.
Get hip. Get hip, Chris.
I'm trying. Mole3204 asks, because you're involved in video games, is there any, I'm sorry, do you play them to find out where they used your voice?
Hells no. I'd have to know how to play a game. If I could voice Pong, then I could play and see where they put my voice. But
That's about it.
No, I don't. Yeah, video games. In my day, it was shooting gallery stuff. Pinball. Pinball wizard.
Similar, or good segue to Dedicated Teacher 87 asked, what was it like to come back as Leonardo for the new TMNT video game?
Oh, such a tease. Loved it. You know, it was so fun to be back in the studio with the boys. And, you know, I have this fantasy that sometime the success of that or some other thing would make them go, let's make new episodes with the old guys. Because we sound enough like them, you know, and I, you know, and you did put them on in the nighttime or, you know, whatever, so that you guys, because I think the audience is there, but, you know, like they relaunched, I think, Powerpuff Girls, and they relaunched Animaniacs, right?
Futurama, yeah.
Yeah, but it was wonderful, and I just wish there were more of it.
I'd love if it was Adult Swim, something close to the original animation, not exactly, but you guys, and it could actually be like
A little darker.
a little funnier, a little dirtier would be
Yeah.
not quite what Ren and Stimpy did, but you know,
Yeah.
still it could be adult humor. We'll just do one or two more.
If any of you
Actually,
producers are out there, Chris and I have this idea. Adult Swim, run with it.
I'm putting them in the hashtags for sure. Actually, I'll tag them. Someone asked if you had, this is probably my favorite question, was there an episode of the original TMNT that you remember enjoying the most from Pumpkin Pie 59?
There was a couple of episodes, I think it was a two-parter or something, where Leonardo said enough, that I'm not going to be the leader anymore. Y'all are in charge. I'm just going to sit back in the lair and eat pizza and be like you guys and see how you like it. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Those couple of episodes? That was my favorite, hands down.
Nice. Oh, one just popped in. We'll see if we have time for one more. What was it? Where was it? Oh, do you have a favorite turtle besides Leonardo from Bull Striker here?
Touche Turtle from when I was a kid. It's a cartoon when I was a kid. Actually, somebody sent me a little, you know, little one-panel cartoon where it said the fifth Ninja Turtle, and the artist was Picasso, and this turtle was like one eye and one arm over here and the leg over here and all flat. It was hilarious. They should have had a Picasso turtle. Pablo.
Oh, there you go, Pablo. Yeah, yeah. All the names are already there.
Yeah, Leo, Raph, Donnie, Mikey, and Pablo. Right, Holmes?
See.
Yeah, Pablo in there. Eh? You know what I'm saying? Las tortugas ninjas. Pablo.
I can't think of a better way to end this. That was
Con honor. Con honor. ¿Hablas español, Chris?
no, pequeño, very, very, very little. Yeah, I'm not trying to say anything else. That is the perfect ending to this. Checking the time too. I mean, this is perfect. So, just want to thank you again. I try to get a lot of people and a lot of requests just kind of go off into cyberspace and never come back. So I'm really excited you said yes, because this was awesome.
You betcha. Thanks for having me on, Chris. You ran a great interview, and thanks all of you guys for tuning in. You're welcome. And maybe I'll see some of you in Seattle, or I've got about 5 more shows this year. I think I'm in Rhode Island some point, and I'm down in Florida again. And I think in January, there's talk of New Orleans. I've never been down south, so that might get to some of you folks from that other part of the country. So I love you all. Thanks for making my life so complete that I get to go out and meet y'all and get paid for it. She's always
Bank.
Well, Chris, thanks for having me.
Thanks for saying yes. I appreciate it, man. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Great to hear from y'all. Yep, Orlando. Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening and watching, guys. See you on the next one.